Hello everyone, and welcome to the Trending in My Life podcast, episode 94. This week, Positivity Train. I'm calling it that because I feel like this week the Positivity Train pulled out of the station and I missed it. I tried really hard to catch it, but I missed that train. And to explain, I've had a week of being ill, and most of it has been indoors, and I've been on tablets, and for some of that time, every time I took an antibiotic, I felt nauseous for an hour. And on top of the symptoms I had in the first place for a chest infection. So it was very difficult to feel positive. However, you just have to keep trying, don't you? After 3 days, I discovered that if I took an antibiotic tablet and lay down for half an hour, I could get up and I was fine, and I didn't feel nauseous at all. So since then, that's what I've done. And I only have to take them every 12 hours, so I only have to remember to do that twice a day. I've tried to keep myself to myself in the house so that I'm not sort of spreading germs, coughing and around the place, because I don't want anyone else to catch it, because it's been pretty horrible. My last podcast went out and I just started a cough, and it got so much worse at the beginning of the week. So yeah, I don't want anyone else to have to go through this. Anyway, so I was keeping myself to myself in my room, but I don't like being stuck in one place, to say the least. So I was like, oh, I'm stuck in this room. Anyway, as the days passed, the view from the bedroom window is out on the back garden. And not so long ago, I took part in the RSPB Garden Watch, where you watched your garden for an hour to see what birds came in. And I watched my garden, and it took till sort of 55 minutes in before any birds turned up. So I don't think of it as a garden where birds come. But I can see trees that are in other gardens quite close by. And I found like there's a pair of magpies that are at trees right in line with my garden, but the trees don't belong to us. And there was a pair of wood pigeons that had come every day and sit in a tree nearby. Occasionally, a couple of parakeets came by and just flew overhead, doing that squawky thing that they do. So it got quite interesting, and there were regular robins that came as well. I don't know whether it was one repeatedly or whether it was different ones. So it began that I would see things out of the window and take notice, and so it wasn't so boring. I think if I was the roadside of the house, you'd see people walking past, you'd see cars going past. You'd have more activity to look at. Anyway, there was also a squirrel that wasn't coming in our garden, but he was going in a garden 2 doors down, where they have sort of an elaborate bird feeder on a stake out in the open. And what he was doing was he was going along their fence and then making acrobatic leaps to get himself onto this bird feeder so that he could steal some of the food from it. And I mean, I've done squirrel shorts, so I know they can leap a long way from tree to tree and stuff. But it was quite funny to watch. So that was a positive I made out of being stuck in my room. As I wouldn't say I got a lot better, but as soon as I was able to, I would go for a short walk each day, because by doing that, I'm sort of building up my energy, and eventually I have to go back to work, and my trains journey takes me a long time, and I have to be fit enough and healthy enough to do that. So I have to build up my energy, because I'm hoping to go back on Tuesday after Easter. And in doing that, it was weird because I wasn't walking to places. I was just walking for like 15 minutes, which I built up to 30 minutes. But I was just walking for the sake of walking because I could breathe fresh air, and it helped my breathing a lot by doing that as well. Anyway, so despite feeling grumpy and miserable most of the time, I found a positive in being outside because I was walking down roads to nowhere. I wasn't walking down roads for a purpose to get anywhere. I was going nowhere, which actually made me walk down roads that I had no reason to walk down. These were roads that I've not walked down since I've lived here. And then you're sort of walking down a road and you're looking at the houses and you think, wow, look at that, and look at that. And, and like, this is only 5 minutes from the house. Didn't even know this road was here. And look how they've done that with that house, or this with this house. And there were some quite huge houses not far from here that I didn't realise were there, with very fancy gardens, all sort of. I was thinking that their grass was like immaculate, and I haven't even cut mine yet for the start of the year. To be fair, I had planned to cut it over Easter, but there's no way I can drag a mower back and forth at the moment. So it's finding those little positives out of a negative situation, out of a situation where things aren't good. And we can all use that kind of thing when things happen in our lives, trying to find the little positives that you can build on. It's like quite often we've got goals that we're working towards, but they take time. And sometimes it's frustrating and you feel you're never going to get there. And it's the little things that will help you along the way, trying to visualize yourself where you want to be, or taking a day to walk down a street that you might be walking down when you're in the position that you want to be eventually. Even if it's scrolling on the internet, looking at something that you've been saving up to buy and thinking, enlarge that picture and imagine yourself actually having that. And it's those little times where you can smile that help you through the times when you feel it's hopeless and impossible, but you can get there. It just takes time, it takes patience, and you just have to keep trying. I'm currently watching the clouds racing across the sky. There's the sky is this pale blue because it's evening, and there's a massive grey cloud travelling across the middle of it, like a whale in shape. And if I lean slightly and look further out of the side window, I can see similar dark clouds being pushed across the sky in the wind. Very likely we won't see any rain because they're moving so fast. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying your Easter time. Sometimes it's not all about chocolate. If you're religious, you might be going to church, and that has special significance for you at this time of year. There's been a lot of Easter egg hunts. Some of them have taken place. Some Easter egg hunts are taking place soon, which is fun if you have children. They get terribly excited about it. And then there's the hunt to find things. And you may even do an Easter egg hunt in your own home. And as adults, these days there are a lot of Easter gifts. I put out a short earlier today, which is suggesting different gift ideas. Because it's a 4-day weekend, if you're visiting relatives, you might want to take some flowers. But equally, you might want to take them something Easter themed. And even like the garden centres have mosaic eggs made of concrete and stuff with little bits of tile stuck on them, or rabbit statues and stuff. And the thumbnail for that short is a painting. It's a painting of a hare. So yeah, these days there is a lot of choice of Easter gifts. If you want to give someone you're visiting a gift, or someone you know, or you might even be going to an Easter party. And I'd say, do people have those? But considering the amount of Easter themed cakes and food, I imagine they do. I kind of want an Easter do-over next weekend, or the weekend after, or whenever I'm fit and healthy again. I have no sense of taste whatsoever. So even if I had chocolate, I wouldn't know what it tasted like. There would be no point. So there you see, the positive is I can have a do-over and I can look forward to that. So if the positivity train left the station without you today, never mind, there'll be another one tomorrow, or another one this afternoon or this evening, and you can jump on that one and you can get your positivity vibe back. And I'm hoping when I'm fully better, I get all my positivity vibe back. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and come back next time. Bye for now.